I would love to see your beautiful faces. If you feel comfortable, I understand how life works. I understand I'm on Zoom calls and I'm not always on the screen either. But if you do feel so inclined, I would greatly appreciate seeing all of you. So as mentioned, I'm Regine Moore. I'm currently Director of Constituent Relations at Walmart, and I'll go into what that is a little bit later. But I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about the journey that I've had, where I've come from, and the decisions that I made to get here. And I hope that it's of value to you all. And I'll start with, I hope the key takeaway is, and hopefully I'll reiterate that a couple of times throughout the discussion of my career path. My hope is that at the end of this, there is comfort in knowing that hesitation is completely okay as it relates to the next steps in your journey. There's nothing wrong with that. My only ask is you hesitate that you don't become stagnant. Don't let that stop you from moving forward, because that is what, to me, is the killer of growth, is to not move at all. So, starting from the beginning, and third ask. If you have a question, chat it up, raise your hand, interrupt me. I'm completely okay with that. I would much prefer this to be a conversation than a presentation, because to me, that's how I learn more about you, learn more about me. So let's, take off all the formalities. You got something to ask? I'm more than happy for you to ask it. Okay, so I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm born and raised, and I graduated and went to school at Florida A&M. And I know the program's hub is in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And so I always like to bring that up and bring a little mug of FAMU. Oh, where's my FAMU with me, because I will be a Rattler for life. And the decision going to FAMU, and I think almost unknowingly, started me on this path of where I am today. FAMU, as many of you know, is an HBCU in Tallahassee, Florida. And I'll be honest to say that there was a certain amount of hesitation, right, of even going to FAMU, because where I grew up, I was around other Black and African Americans, but I had this hesitation of like, will I be Black enough going to FAMU? The beauty about going to FAMU and being in this place and time where everyone around me was in a similar mindset and goals of what does future look like really helped shape me and gain a greater appreciation for the Black and African American culture in my community. And I know a part of the reason why I am today is because I went to FAMU. I studied there business. I got my 5-year MBA from the School of Business and Industry. And upon graduation, it was one of those moments where back in 2006, where it felt like people were getting jobs, but it wasn't necessarily what they wanted, or everyone was just moving to Atlanta. And for me, I wasn't a big believer in just moving to a city for the sake of moving to the city in hopes of getting a job. I needed to have a job, and preferably in a role that I wanted to grow in. So I knew I wanted to do marketing. And I ended up with a couple of offers, and one of them was for a finance company, a banking company in North Carolina. And one of them was for Tyson Foods in Arkansas. I'm gonna remind you, I'm from New York, right? Arkansas was not on the realm of possibilities in my New York in mind, right? Like, who's going to Arkansas? So I'm looking at, I'm like, ooh, Charlotte, this is where I need to go. Like, I'll have great weekends, I'm single, I'm graduated, I'll get to meet somebody. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. And then that role was in finance marketing, but the role at Tyson was in product marketing. So when it comes to the work, I was like, but product marketing is kind of like, I think it's gonna be my jam. Like, I get to work with food and learn and do the colorful creative for commercials. Like, this is where work-wise I feel like I'm supposed to be, but it's Arkansas. I literally looked up at the map again. I think it's one of the most forgotten states in this country. I knew 2 things about Arkansas. I knew 3: Capital, Little Rock. I knew Bill Clinton, and I knew about a documentary that I saw on HBO. I don't know if you all have seen it, but it was called Bangin' in Little Rock. And that's literally all I knew about this state. When I was interviewing for both of these jobs and the offers were coming in and I had to make a decision, there was a woman who was my big sister to this day. Her name is Doris. And she said, "You are going to work far more than you play. So find a place where you will enjoy 5 days out of your week. And you'll find joy in the other 2, but 5 days out of the week, because you can't only live for Friday after work. You will be miserable." And I really took that to heart, that in the midst of my hesitation of, am I going to go to this Arkansas Bible Belt Southern state that I knew nothing about, alone, knowing no one, but with the high potential of liking my job, or do I go to Charlotte, which was starting to bloom and grow, and know that my Saturdays and Sundays and Friday nights could probably be awesome, but I could potentially be miserable through most of my week. After some prayer and just like following my gut, this New Yorker by way of Tallahassee, Florida, went to Bentonville, Arkansas to work for Tyson Foods. Although hesitant, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And I will say through each of these hesitations, I will probably end it with one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I followed the feeling of what felt best and not what just looked good. And I think that that's something all of us should think about as it relates to what seems shiny isn't necessarily what's good for us. So let's follow what feels right for not just the moment, but long-term, because moments will pass, but long-term will stay in that. So I moved to Springdale, Arkansas, and I say Springdale, Bentonville, because it's all kind of this little sector of Northwest Arkansas. And I worked for Tyson Foods. Got to work on some launches for chicken nuggets and create some relationships like with Hawaiian King rolls, and like showing the relationship of like rolls and nuggets and like making these family meals. I helped launch a product, I don't know if you guys have ever eaten it, but it's called Anytizers. It was meant to show that you can have these nuggets or appetizers any time of the day. So Anytizers, so starting a whole new product line and bringing that to life and having the marketing behind it. It was great fun. I then got moved to a different product line in Tyson Foods. And it got to a point where, although I enjoyed my management, because that's important, I'll share a little bit about the importance of managers and the work that you do, I wasn't enjoying the work anymore. I enjoyed the people, but this particular role, I was doing a lot of forecasting, and that just didn't really excite me. Budgets kept on being cut. Some leadership wasn't really understanding of the challenges that this product line had. But at the end of the day, Sunday nights became the worst night of my week. I would dread knowing that I would wake up Monday morning and having to go to work. And it was this uncomfortable feeling. And by this time I had met my husband. I'll go a little segue into the husband thing for a second. I did not go to Arkansas thinking that I would meet a soul to be my significant other. Let me repeat, I'm a New Yorker that moved to Arkansas. Never did I think, oh yeah, I'm gonna find the love of my life. The love of my life is from Trinidad, and not just Trinidadian. His parents are still in Trinidad. And he ended up being at Tyson Foods as well. It was all the same HBCU college tour. We both recruited by the same person, and unbeknownst to us, that person ultimately helped us find each other. But I say that to go, you can find love anywhere, even in Arkansas. So I would go to bed and I would start crying. And my husband would be like, "What is wrong?" And I'm like, "I don't want to go to work tomorrow." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I'm like getting to a miserable state. Like I have to have a change. Like this isn't sustainable for me to exist." And so he's like, "All right, well, let's work on this resume and get it going." And blessedly, someone who had left Tyson Foods had gone to Walmart And so Walmart's right up the street. I don't know how much you know about Arkansas, but there's a couple of major organizations and companies there. There's Tyson Foods, there's JB Hunt, that's a trucking company. There's University of Arkansas, which is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And there's Walmart, which is up the street, which you all are probably aware of. And then there's always like these satellite offices of different CPG companies like P&G, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson. If you name the brand, there's probably a satellite office there in Northwest Arkansas. And so I had never imagined living in Arkansas for as long as I lived in Arkansas. When I first moved there, I gave myself the 3 to 5 year sentence. I said, just stay here for 3 to 5 years. You'll get some, work under your belt, and then you'll move to like a real city. After about 6 months, the warden reduced my time to 1 to 3 years because I didn't think I was gonna make it. I went through depression. I just said, this isn't gonna work out for me. Blessedly, it did. But when it came time to changing jobs, I said to my husband, I said, hey, let me try to get into Walmart. If that doesn't work, we'll move. Like, we'll go somewhere else. And because Arkansas is not our final stop, like, of course it isn't. So I got the role at Walmart working in private brands marketing. And what this was is Great Value, as you know, is Walmart's private brand. We would find white spaces of where Great Value should have a product and make sure it lined up to national brand equivalent. So if there was a face moisturizer by a major brand that we saw was trending upwards, okay, Equate's another private brand, could also be there. Let's now develop it and have a private brand option. That went really well, was enjoying it. I was able to take a lot of skills that I had learned from Tyson Foods as it relates to product marketing and product development. So it wasn't as big of a jump in terms of going from a CPG to a retailer. Then with all companies, there was a reorg. And so then I went into category marketing. And in category marketing, I led the beauty realm of cosmetics and hair, and was really in this space that I started my journey of making sure representation was a part of the equation. At this time, and still to this day, you'll see that there's a lot of beauty, personal care is not showing the beauty of women across all colors, communities of color, hair types, skin tone. And I wanted to make sure that best I could in the role that I was at, make sure that I share with leadership the importance of our customers seeing themselves in this work. And so I started to push this. Leadership was starting to see like, okay, this makes sense, starting to make some changes, did some wonderful programming and working with like Condé Nast and other magazines to create these beauty campaigns. It was a lot of fun. Like, I was having a good time in my job. And then came another reorg. This time, a lot of people, and reorgs, to me, the definition of reorg is some people are going to be let go and some people are going to be moved to a position that you may not want. So we knew it was coming. You get a little tense because you don't know if you're going to get the email of what time is your meeting, because then you have a one-on-one to let you know what's happening. So I had my one-on-one with my VP. And sorry, pause. I'm moving my career the wrong way. So category marketing. Then there was a time that I felt I needed to know more about social media. Then I'll get to the reorg about social media. So Facebook was just figuring out how to do ads. Instagram really hadn't come out yet in a big way, but social media was just booming from a more corporate commercial standpoint, not just from a, hey, you're in college, connect with your friends, post pictures. And I was like, I want to be in the forefront of this. This is what tomorrow looks like. This is the future is now. So I went for a role in media for social marketing, and I led the work for Facebook, ultimately Instagram, as well as some of our mom influencers and Twitter. Had a small team, and we worked on the ads with campaigns. What does that look like? Who are we targeting? And targeting became an interesting one because when it came to products that were specifically targeted towards communities of color, African American, Black, Latinx, Hispanic, we wanted to make sure it was going towards the right people. And it was interesting when talking to different members of Facebook, they wanted to look at just like names. And I said, no, we can't just do names. Your profile. Like, we can't just assume that if someone's name is XYZ, that's the right target. So we decided to do it on interest-based. And I mentioned that because very often we can be in a role and just assume that another entity knows what they're talking about and it's the right thing. But if you feel as though their approach is not right, speak up. Like, you are at the table with a voice for a reason, and use it. And after sharing the explanation of how you can't just assume by someone's name that that's the right audience, there was understood we can't put profiling in that realm as a place of how we want to do business, how we want to talk to people, how we want to authentically connect. So we started working on how do we use interest-based. So let's say it was natural hair, the different groups that they were a part of, the different people that they may follow, the different accounts that they may follow, and using that as a basis to understand those that fit this criteria of interest we want to send these ads to. And so that was a big project that I had worked on to, again, further make sure that as we're talking about representation and talking to customers, it's done so in a really authentic way. So I was doing this, was loving it, got to go to Facebook's office, that if you ever get a chance to go. One of the dopest places I've ever seen in my life. It's like, in my opinion, corporate funland. It was just amazing. But YouTube and things of that nature. Now the reorg. So reorg was coming, and the one-on-one came, and I'm in the office of my VP. And she goes, got great news. So, okay. She said, you have a job. I said, oh, that's good. I want a job. This is great. And then she says, and I got second great news. I said, yes. She said, you are now going to lead multicultural media. I froze. I was terrified. It's not what I wanted. I remember the person who had this role before me was always stressed out, always just in the battle of trying to make things work. And I was on this decent path of life, right? Like, I just had a baby. He was 1.5, 2 at that time. I was going to travel, but it wasn't too much. Family was getting used to it. I was good. I did not want this perceived level of stress in my life. But again, voluntold, this is not an option. This is, you have a job and this is what it is, or you can look for other work. So I went home and she was like, okay, and this weekend or this Friday, we're going to go to DC. There's this conference. And so I said, okay. I went home. I told my husband about it. I was like, I don't know about this. This isn't for me. I don't want this. I don't want the stress. I don't want to have to feel like I'm in a fight every single day when I go to work. I like where I was at. One thing that I was always taught is it's easier to have a job it's easier to get a job when you have a job. And so quitting just wasn't an option for me, because that's just not the philosophy that I hold for myself. So it was a Wednesday. Thursday came, and I'll be quite honest, I was sick. I could not go into work because I wasn't ready. So I called in. I don't advise anyone to fake sick, but I'll be honest, I completely fake sick. I was like, I'm sick, I can't come in. And really, I was just going through this mental place of, I don't think this is for me, but I don't know what to do about it. I could quit. Again, not a real option for me. I could work to hopefully they move my role again, but that's my brand. I don't want that. I don't know what to do. The next day we were supposed to go to this conference. I was like, oh, I'm sick, I can't go. And it was on that day where I wasn't in the space and place to go forward with this role yet. where I prayed about it again. And my resolve was, again, stagnation is not an option. Not moving forward and doing something is not a place that you can exist. So I'm going to put on, I call this is offensive to anyone, I apologize. I call it put on my big girl panties, and we go and press forward, and we go and do the best that we can at this job. And one of two things will happen. One, you do the best that you can, you don't like it, and then we still look for another role. The other option that could happen, you might like it. Who knows? I kid you not. This move to multicultural marketing of media, one of the best decisions, one of the best voluntold decisions of my entire life. I have had opportunities being in that role that I never would have imagined had I said no or had I just stopped. I say these things to you not to be like, oh, look what I did, but more to share. I couldn't have fathomed the types of things that I had the opportunity to do. So one of the biggest things that I got to do was lead the sponsorship for Essence Festival. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Essence Festival. It's one of the biggest in New Orleans. Thousands of people come. I was nervous is an understatement of the undertaking it takes to do this type of event. You are trying to appease, please, entertain thousands of people in the most authentic way in a place where communities of color will let you know if you're showing up right or if you're showing up wrong. And I know that this was on my name and on my brand. So how do we make this the best possible? It went well, but it was also from this, the CEO of the company started to know my name because I invited him and other leaders to come. And they came. And they came and they enjoyed it and they saw the benefit of it. And the fight that I saw that the previous leader had, at least when it came to this event, wasn't as hard because I did things a little differently in how to approach and how to do outreach. Never underestimate the beauty of having others at the table, especially if they don't look like you. There is beauty in diversity of thought. There is beauty in having others at the table that don't look like you, especially also of different ranks. The CEO didn't have to come. His leadership didn't have to come, but they did because they saw the importance of multicultural, but they didn't understand why this event was so impactful. And they made the decision to come and then understood it. When you have projects, campaigns, or at roles and you really believe in it, find someone else. Girls, how Janet Jackson was there last year. Yes, I got to meet Janet Jackson because of this. Because of this role, I got to meet Janet. I've met so many people through this that, again, never would have happened if I hadn't accepted this role. If you get a chance to go to Essence Festival, go, it's amazing. But just from a professional standpoint, I was able to start putting my brand out there with different levels and with different people that I wouldn't have had if I had stopped and if I had stayed stagnant and I'm not doing this. Hesitation's okay. Stopping is not okay. Even beyond doing events like this, I got to meet, I call them sisters now because blessedly it didn't stop at the transactional relationships, but leaders of different Black media, of BET, of OWN, of One Solution, who to this day I can reach out to because they understood the importance of lifting each other up, of not saying, well, I'm the big kahuna in the room, I don't want to see you succeed. It's been a building of a tribe that they go, Regine, whatever you need, you let me know. Even in this day where I can't help them very much from a corporate standpoint, but they believe in me and see me and what I can do. And it was from this role that this was able to happen. I mean, one person who works for OWN invited me to a dinner and I got to meet Oprah. She sang to my daddy, y'all. Like, I will send you the video. I was able to awkwardly, but almost bum rush her while she was leaving and ask her chief of staff, will she, say a few words? My dad's turning 70. I would love to surprise him. And she sang to him. Like, that wouldn't have happened if I didn't say yes. Yes, no is a powerful word too, but yes has so much power in it. If you just kind of give yourself into this moment that may be in front of you that you don't know fully that you should take. So I'm doing this role, thoroughly loving it. Got promoted from that role to director of multicultural strategy, and just pushing the initiative of how do we as Walmart show up authentically in communities in a way that allows them to know that we see them and we want to support and empower them. And from this, I was also seeing this increase of how do we not just show up commercially and through creative, but how are we truly there from a community standpoint? To a point where my old manager would be like, this is marketing, this isn't that role, you may need to change. And I'm like, but it should be. Like, there should be a combination of how do we support community. There was leadership at the time, and again, the importance of leadership in your management. There was one leader who, for whatever reason, we just butt heads. Like, we just did not seem to jive in a way that allowed us to work in a place of growth for the company. And I will say selfishly for myself. It started to be, I was dreading Sunday night. On a role I loved, you guys, I was dreading it because I had to then work with this individual. So it came to a point, what do? Do I stay where I'm at? I don't grow because I'm constantly battling this leader that isn't going to allow me to grow. Or do I move on? As hesitant as that makes me, because I love what I do and I'm pretty good at it. Being miserable at any point for a long period of time is not something that I'm okay with. It's something that doesn't really fit well into my definition of success because my mental health means way too much to me. So there came up a place in time where there was another group called Constituent Relations that I started to work with through my old role. Constituent Relations, known as external affairs for other companies, works closely with external organizations to really help brand reputation, protect it, brand relationships. How do we help support and grow the missions of these organizations we've decided to partner with and empower? And how do we help them understand our story of who and what we are as a brand? And so there was a role specifically in African American and Black community that opened up. And as nervous as I was to go for it, it felt like this is where the next place I should be, given my passion for supporting community, being there for community, and how do I bring the skill sets that I learned within marketing as it relates to authentically connecting in a way that meets them where they are and what they'd like to see, but also able to uplift and use the influence I have to influence others and influence up to make things happen. So I got the role. And so now I am Director of Constituent Relations, leading the Black and African American work. I work closely with organizations like NAACP, National Urban League, 100 Black Men of America, leading conferences, sponsorships in those conferences. I have also been able to start a scholarship. So after the murder of George Floyd, Walmart made a commitment to help improve the systemic racism that exists. And it was a focus of 4 pillars: finance, education, criminal justice, and health and wellness. So in my role, I try to find the places, the programs where Walmart can support that are in line with those 4 pillars. Criminal justice is a harder one for us to figure out how we as our resources can help. So there's things like removing check the box off of the resumes that we did a long time ago. How do we support second chance programs? But I felt there was this opening, this gap of learning around some of the challenges that the previously incarcerated or returning citizens may have as it relates to even education, as it relates to housing, as it relates to money and income. Like, the list is long as it relates to what those who have a felony or have gone to jail have that are presented to them by the society, our government, right? If you ever get a chance to read the book, I honestly have to read it again, but The New Jim Crow changed my life as it relates to learning more about this system and how it is not built to help those who have been incarcerated. It is effectively built against them. So this scholarship that I was able to started from a small seed of talking to the group that is leading the work of criminal justice. And I said, I think it would be great, even if it was $25,000, $50,000, to start a scholarship that is specifically for returning citizens looking to further their education. I truly believe that seeds planted with the best intention, with data behind them, as well as sharing with the right people, can grow into something so much more. What started off as 25 ended up blooming into a $100,000 scholarship on the NAACP's website, first of its kind with corporate, that is providing scholarships to those that can show they are a returning citizen and that they're enrolled into, it could be 2-year college, 4-year college, it could be a trade school, because we understand that college is not for everyone in terms of what they want to pursue. And we were able to launch this last year. And I actually spoke to one of the recipients just Monday night. It was one of those conversations that confirmed for me, or affirmed for me, that the journey that I've been on to help just that one individual was worth it. It was worth the hesitant moments. It was worth the doubt of, should I be there? And to be at this place to go, I was able to help just the one. And I believe for me, and the legacy that I hold for myself, no one else needs to know this, is how can I, in the work that I'm doing, help just one? And I think all of us need to understand or learn for ourselves, what is the legacy we have for ourselves? It doesn't have to be that. It could be to be the first in something. It could be to be the best at something. But I think once you understand what you want your legacy for yourself to be, you can work towards that North Star of the decisions that you make, of the career moves that you make, the sacrifices that you make, because you know ultimately what you're trying to achieve. So that's one of the examples of the work that I've done that I've been really excited about. Even now, in terms of what I'm able to do, again, started as a seed. Walmart has a relationship with Plenty. Plenty is a indoor farming, sustainable farming in Compton, California. It's called hydroponic farming, where it's in a building. They grow things on walls. Like, I couldn't explain the technology to you, but I can get more information for whomever's interested. Super interesting. And gotcha, Myra. I will get your information. Thank you. And I thought what we were doing as it relates to providing accessible, nutritious food to communities that sometimes can be more of a food desert is fantastic. But I believe as brands that have the capability and capacity to be in a community, what are we doing for the community? We shouldn't just show up in a building and say, hey, we're here, give us your money, let's sell stuff. We should be there to go, how can we help uplift this community, given that we now have a Walmart down the street, we have Plenty over here, how do we work together to do good? And so for the first year, I said, how about we do some type of, food giveaway, we give a grant for some protein, let's try to feed 250 families. So I was able to talk to members of the community of Compton. They were like, love it, let's do it. And so we got on the first call, and ultimately they challenged us and they said, I think we can feed 1,000 families. I said, say what? I think we can feed 1,000 families. So, okay. Challenge heard. Let's see what we can do. I went back to my organization, got some more money, gave them a bigger grant. Plenty is giving additional leafy greens. The city of Compton came in with like $25,000 themselves, seeing this opportunity of corporate, government, and religious coming together for this moment that is now called Unified Compton, a day of thanks giveaway, where 1,000 families were able to come and get a food meal bag with protein, greens, other side items. Sam's Club is donating 1,000 sweet potato pies by a Black-owned brand called Joy Bell, and it's going to start off with an ecumenical service of just thanks. And it all stemmed from one thought, one conversation that bloomed into something more that's going to have so much impact for families who may be under-resourced in this season to be able to get food for Thanksgiving. That warms my heart to know that the work that each of us can do can help someone else. And this was able to do that because partially I didn't hesitate for long as it relates to it's time to move on and do something else. So that's actually happening on Sunday. I'll send pictures for if you want to see more about this Compton Day of Giving. But this is the work that I'm doing now. And it's been a complete blessing to be able to be in the spaces of greatness. And I say that in its literal sense, to be at the dinners of Equal Opportunity Dinner for National Urban League, to go to Women of Power by Black Enterprise and just see the leadership that is on the stage talking about the work that they're doing, the teams that they're leading, the companies that they're leading. And I know a big part of it is because I leaped. I hesitated, but not enough to stop me. And I hope all of you can at least take away, in whatever your journey looks like, that it's okay to be nervous about what that next step. It's okay to have some doubt. I think oftentimes, like when you talk to people and they're like, oh, what do you want to do? That there has to be this like 100% confidence of like, you know what? In 2 years, I'm going to be here. And in 5 years, my husband's kind of like that. That's why he's the yin to my yang. I'm nothing like that. I know enough to know where I want to go, but I don't know enough for me to go, this is where I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years. It's just not my makeup, right? What I do know about me is what is it that's going to give me the level of satisfaction and accomplishment that helps me to sleep well at night. I don't like crying myself to sleep. I don't like miserable Monday mornings. I don't like looking forward to Friday afternoons. That's a lot of time of my life of not being happy. I think we all need to define for ourselves, what is success? For some, it's, oh, can I get to be president and CEO of a company? And that's completely fine. For some, it's to be the best mother and companion. That's completely fine. Sometimes it's a combination of both, best you can. For me, it's been in the roles that I have, what can I do to have an impact on just one? And I work and strive to do that. And when I feel as though it's not able to happen in a way that is peaceful for me, then I have to make a shift. Don't take away from that I don't want to grow in my career, that I wouldn't like the next level. It's just not what success means for me. And I think it's really important that we don't try to define success by the next person. Everyone's role in life and journey is different. Everyone's industry is different. Their role in that industry is different. So be comforted to know that your journey is your own. Just don't stop in the journey. It may slow down at times and may be bumpy at times, but just don't be in a place of where I'm at is the only place I should be, because typically there's so much more that you can and should be doing. And I want you all to make sure that you pursue that, whatever that looks like. So that's like a little bit of me and my journey and where I'm at. To give a bit, this one little other thing that I'm excited about, which I hadn't shared with you, and is that today I actually am being awarded 40 under 40 with Black Enterprise, which is one reason why I was like, what's time look like? Because I have to get myself together a bit. But I know a part of that, again, is because of this trajectory of what I've told myself I need to do, what I've been voluntold to do, that has ended up being one of the best decisions of my life, to being here today and just keeping yourself open to the yes, being a part of things that may not have seemed like the best fit in terms of campaigns or programs, but then noticing that, no, your skill set was perfect for this. And that's why you were called to be there. So don't doubt the skills and abilities that you have, but know that if you hesitate to move to the next, that's okay. Just don't stop. To me, stopping is not, there's too much to be done. There's too much life to be lived, too much work to accomplish to stop. So keep going, and then you see what happens. You don't like it, you can always change to something else. That's always a possibility. Questions? No one?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that I loved listening to you speak, and your story was amazing. I took note of the parts where you said that you had to, when you were moving to Arkansas, you were concerned about your life outside of work, and that you were afraid that you wouldn't find joy in the outside of work life, but your focus on being that you wanted to have a job that you loved. Yeah. And I think I find myself in that place right now where I just need to find the job that I love.
Yeah. And it may not be love forever, right? It could be love in the moment. I mean, we've all dated, I love you today, I love you tomorrow, but it's okay, because that's how you end up finding your love, right? Like, it's okay to not love it, but I feel like you should like it enough, because I think that gives you some peace. And I didn't say this. So I was in Arkansas. Remember I told you that 3 to 5, then changed to 1 to 3, and I thought I was going to be out. I was in Arkansas for 13 years. Only moved because my husband got a new job at Unilever, and now we live in Jersey. But I found my tribe. Like, I put myself out there to be in organizations and in moments and go to things to find happiness on the weekend and have some of the best friends possible. Some still in Arkansas, some that have moved to other places, but they're there. But you can't just hope they're going to come to your front door. You got to kind of go find them and be in the spaces that are aligned with you. Rachel?
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. It's a privilege and honor to have you. Thank you so much for speaking. I'm currently a student at Florida State University. I'm in my junior year, senior, basically about to graduate. And literally what you just talked about is what I've been going through for the past several months in the course of 2022. And I appreciate your obedience to follow what God has called for your life, because this message is directly I feel like he was just talking just specifically to me about stagnation. And it's so crazy because even though I was stagnant for a moment, now that I'm pressing forward and I'm moving forward, and just to hear you said that, yes, it's okay to fall down or hold yourself hesitant, but to stay stagnant, that's not an option. And now that's my affirmation that being stagnant is not an option. That's a motivation to keep going. And now I'm in the space where I'm do I want to go to law school? Do I want to do this? I want to do so many different things and so many different avenues. There's so much time on my hands, even though there really isn't. But I'm what can I do? What makes me happy? What can I do to be able to make that impact? And for you to just talk about your story and tell us how transparent you really were and the shortcomings. See, people don't really realize that it's real life. We're going to go through the motions. We didn't see your heartbreaks. We didn't see your tears. We didn't see the hard work that you put in, but look at the actual outcome of what you did when you didn't stay stagnant. And I feel for some, myself, now I feel more confident. I feel more prepared for the next journey of my life, even though I still don't know, and I'm still praying and I'm still asking God, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to move? But you just being here today, telling us about it, understanding that it's okay not to know, and it's okay to be hesitant, but it's not okay to be stagnant. And I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your knowledge. You're only helping so many other people as well too. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Rachel. And all the best. If I can do anything, if you want to just vent it out and talk it out, let me know. Happy to share my number.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I may not have all the answers, but I'll give you whatever thoughts, and take them, leave them. I'm completely fine with that. But I'm glad that you're not going to be stagnant, because it seems like you have a lot ahead of you. Just don't go through analysis paralysis either, because that's a form of stagnation as well. So you
started analyzing and not realizing that you have to take the action in order to move.
Yep.
So, we go.
Gotta move. Oh, Ruth, yes.
Hi, sorry. I've been at work, and so I had to sneak away. But yes, this was amazing. Like, honestly, just hearing your story, honestly, when I graduated from UCF, and the reason I know about Women's of Tomorrow because I did it in high school, and it was just something I always appreciated and gave me my first leadership skills in high school when I graduated in 2014. And I'm just like kind of like looking ways to connect more. I was like, I have all these things that I've done, but now I'm an adult. How can I continue to do those things? And I saw this. I was on LinkedIn because I'm always looking to improve myself. I saw this and I was like, wow, I need to take that step to pursue things that I love. Like, I love nonprofit. I love fund development. I'm an event manager for Orlando World Center Marriott right now. So I just have so many different skill aspects, but how can I put it together to kind of just move forward? And you definitely gave me the encouragement when I saw this workshop to just like, I was like, well, you need to apply for these jobs now. Like, whatever you see now. Put yourself out there. There's nothing wrong with using and finding ways of using your skill set. So I like to hear that you necessarily are not in the same positions that you were before, but you use those skill sets to carry over. And I think that's for me how I'm trying to like, how do I structure that? I have so many skill sets. How can I use it to bring forth and be better candidates with other people? And just like, even when I don't get opportunities, how can I just talk to the hiring managers? They're the experts when they're hiring. What are you guys looking? How can I improve myself? So it definitely gives me courage because I was down this morning, and it was a great pick me up.
Good. I'm glad you got something from it. And all the best, Ruth. I know you'll find your space, especially with the mindset that you have. So congrats to realizing where you want to be.
Thank you.
I have a question. It's just a really quick one. So I am an HBCU grad as well. And I know you said you graduated from FAMU, and I'm a TSU graduate. And I graduated right in the heart of coronavirus pandemic. Everything shut down May 2020. So we didn't have that opportunity to have recruiters come to our school and, share what they were looking for in our different departments. And my major was political science, but I do have a lot of experience in different sectors of that, in public relations and marketing and branding, things of that sort. And my question is, when you see these, new young professionals coming into the job that you've been in with Walmart for these many years, how do they find these opportunities? Are they all coming directly from their school? Are they, actually really getting these jobs off LinkedIn? Where are they finding these opportunities? And what would be your advice for someone who wants to work with organizations who are, helping the Black community and also still in the realm of everything you said, like marketing, just the public sector of everything, if that makes sense? Sorry.
I mean, I'm going to answer this with a probably not as direct as you'd like me to be, meaning like everyone's path is different to get there, right? Some people, it will be through LinkedIn. Some of it will be through the HBCU programs that schools have. Like I know Walmart has recently launched HBCU programs where they bring some students in and they come for a couple of days, and then there's some like internship opportunities that they can apply for. I would say when it comes to the skills that you have, especially when it comes to wanting to do more within the Black and African American community or other communities of color, what organizations are in the areas that you live, and do you volunteer and get to know some of those leaders? And then ask them, what are some organizations that are doing this work and openings and building that networking and connection? I will say, I don't feel as though, sometimes my husband disagrees, I don't feel as though I network nearly as much as I should, just broadly outside of the projects and programs that I work on, right? So I'm able to know people through that, but just like going to some of these other elements of programming or like networking possibilities, I highly encourage it though, as much as sometimes I don't live up by my own words because I need to do better in this. I need to do better. But I think as you talk about how do you find the spaces, the power of relationships, there's none like it. I'll be honest with you. My dad has always said, it's not who you know, but who knows you. And I am a firm believer, receiver, experiencer of just that. I have seen people get promotions that shouldn't, but it's because said leader knows and likes them. I have seen opportunities come because they've heard of and know of enough this one person, so their name comes up in the room when you're not there. You know, like, I would highly encourage you to see what organizations that you may want to support in the future through a different role, and see if there's some volunteering opportunities, or if they have some type of meet and greets, and go and get to meet some of the leaders and start talking to them. Or also some of the organizations that you might want to be a part of, look up to understand what their multicultural campaigns are, as well as what programs they have for HBCU grads and others. Look up, do you ever go to National Black MBA? That's one where there's recruiters all the time of all different sorts, where they may not specifically be recruiting for where you're at right now or where you want to be, but they may know someone and they take your resume and then they go, hey, Regine, look at this person. Is there anything possible? I would say I get more interest for different roles within like foundations or in corporate community giving, things like that come from, hey, I know this person who has these skill sets. Can you help me guide them to XYZ? More than I've seen coming from LinkedIn or coming from other places. So if you have the opportunity to increase your networking and relationship building, that's the first place I would go. Tighten up your resume best you can and share that in what you're interested in, and have these one-on-one informal interview conversations with some of these companies. I mean, I've seen some people, to your point, from LinkedIn send a note to go like, hey, we both went to this school and I'd love to learn more. I would never start it with, I want this position. Just start it from a place of learning, right? I know for me personally, I'm more receptive to those who want to learn more about a position, about the company, about the work that I do, more than feeling like, I just want you to help me get this job, right? Like, it's not, may not be possible that I can do that, right? Or you may not be right fit, but you just learning more, I think, means a lot when you want to learn more about them or learn about the company that they work for. And based upon what you've seen that they do, you think you can learn a lot from them. So hopefully that kind of answers your questions. I know it's not direct because there's not just one path in. If you're interested, I can try to find someone in HR who can give you some more insight in terms of how they're receiving most of the new hires for various positions, since that's not directly my role, but just let me know and I can help get you more information.
I appreciate that. And what you said definitely resonated about networking and just who knows you versus who you know and or who you think you know. Because, you know, if they don't really remember your face or your name or what you do and what you can offer, it's kind of like they don't really know you. So yeah, I definitely will work on that more. And that's why I try to be involved as things that I've been alumni of and involving in myself in the community as well. So I do appreciate that. And thank you for your time. You really like just hound in on like things that I know that I need to work on, and, you know, just hearing it again really helps.
Oh, my pleasure. I know we are close to time, so what I'm going to do is I'm happy for you to give my email address to everyone if they have any questions, want to learn more. Again, I'm a big believer in vent sessions. If you just want to vent about your day to a stranger or stranger like, I'm good with that. I can listen, you know? I'm also a big believer if you don't want advice or feedback, you just need an ear, just say that in the forefront. I can do that too. So if you need me, let me know. And I look forward to hopefully hearing what all of you are set to accomplish for the future.
Regine, that was amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, to, you know, really get to know a little bit more to a Women of Tomorrow, which is now the Alumni Network, that need motivated me too. So I just want to say thank you, and to all of the alum that joined, make yourself known. Reach out to me, tell me about you. What are you doing today? What do you need help with? so that I can continue. I'm really your facilitator. I can continue to go seek and find exactly what you're looking for. Right. So thank you, everybody. Can you hear me? No? Yes?
You broke up at times, but I think we got the gist of it. I think.
Oh man, that was a good one. But no, I'm just glad you guys are all here. Just make yourself known, reach out. Tell me your name, what are you doing, where are you, and see. I'm truly your facilitator. That's really what I am. I'm here to go seek and find the things that you guys need to continue to grow in your professional development, okay? So thank you for joining, and stay tuned for the next one. And bye, everybody.
Thanks, Anna.
Bye.
Can you
Good luck to
please
you guys.
email us your information and the information for Regine?
Yep, I will email it. I will, along with our survey, I will also put Regine's information there, okay?
Thank you.
All right, everybody. You all have a
Bye.
great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.